and, oh boy, Giacone?
Jacone?
Jacone?
Jacone? Hey, Tim Jacone.
Jim Jacone. Okay, I got it. I'll even do the Jacone. Tim Jahoney.
You should just leave that in there. That's perfect. That's perfect.
Well, if you like what you saw there, then you need to stay tuned to the end to be able to see them continue to make fun of me.
You need to practice that a little bit more. We do have fun with the trophy photo names. And
Dude, that's your signature. You're doing it right now.
My hand gestures. So stay tuned to the end of the episode. We got some fun stuff for you. But guys, it is food plot season. It is summertime. The antlers are growing. So we've got a couple really good, informative, I think, food plot segments coming up.
And let's just take a second to talk about food plots. Because, sometimes, Justin, people give us, they give us a hard time about food plots, right?
Who does?
A lot of people do. We get emails, and absolutely people sometimes, I think, are generally jealous of people that can plant food plots versus people who can't plant food plots.
Think that's what it is?
Listen, whether it's jealousy or not, the reality is, my feeling is if you can do something to attract deer to your property, give back, have more show up, you can't bait, it's better for all animals. Dude, I'm all for it.
I'm all for it. Come on,
we've had this debate a ton of times. You know what I'm talking about. There are some people who think it's cheating, it's like baiting.
Those people are called haters, Todd.
Haters.
Haters. They hate us because they ain't us.
I am all for planting food plots, doing anything I can to attract more deer to my property. I think it's great. I'm going to continue to do it.
I'm all about making it easier to kill deer. That's what I'm all about. So guys, we're gonna get into Tim Ainsworth, and then we've got Tyler Rector and Dustin DeCroo doing some work in Central Illinois. So let's check those out now.
All right, guys, well, good morning. It is a beautiful morning here in mid-May. Turkey season has come to an end, and now it's time to get serious about food plots. Rather than do the typical what we plant, why we plant, Troy and I wanted to focus this year on soil health, why it's important, what it provides for not only the plants but for the deer, and what we've done in the past to improve soil health, as well as what we have planned for the future based off some trial and error and research that we've done. Wanted to set the foundation, walk before we run, and talk about soil samples. Soil samples are really the foundation of your food plot plans as well as your soil health. Without knowing exactly where you stand at any particular time, it's hard to know what we need to do to change and improve that soil health. All right, so let's touch base on what exactly we need for a soil sample. The first thing is an outlet or a company that's able to sample the soil for you. There's a number of companies that you're able to send the soil sample to throughout the country. For us, we use a local outlet called FS, which is a farmer co-op in the area. Once you've figured out that company, the next step is to get the dirt out of the ground. There's really two methods you can use. The easiest and most convenient way probably for everybody is a shovel, where you can just dig down in there to about a depth of 6 to 12 inches. Grab each different level, break up that soil, get all the different levels, 3 inches, 4 inches, 5 inches, 6 inches, all the way down, mix that up and put it in the soil sample. We are able to, because we go through FS, grab what they call a soil probe, which is this machine right here. So that's how we get the dirt out of the ground. The next thing is, what are we going to put that dirt in? So if you don't have access to a soil sample bag like FS gives us here, you can just use a brown paper bag. You can use a Ziploc bag. The next thing you're going to need is a bucket. The bucket is used for really just sorting of the soil. When you go down and take that core, you're going to pick up some dead matter. You're going to pick up some live plants possibly. You don't want that in your soil sample. You just want straight dirt. So after you've taken that sample, you want to break it up and be able to get rid of all those contaminants and just give it pure soil. So that's why we use the bucket. You want to do soil samples the same time every year. If you grab it in the fall, you're going to have different nutrient loads and deficiencies than you would in the spring. So trying to do it in the same 1 to 2 week time period every so years will give you a more accurate measure of where your soil health stands at the current moment, as well as the improvements or deficiencies you've had from the last time you've done the soil sample. Well, now you don't want to just take it in one spot. You want to take it in a number of spots, and the reason being is a lot of times your food plots are going to have different elevations, different nutrient loads in different spots. So if you just take it in one spot, you might be in the barren ground area where you just can't grow a lot, or you might be in the rich spot where you can grow a ton. So what we like to do is take 4 or 5 samples in random spots just to get a better total representation of that particular food plot. They always say about 2 cups of soil is a good identification. I don't know, this sample bag here, you can measure it out if you got some dirty measuring cups you want. I just try and fill the bag about halfway, which usually is about 5 cores, so that works out good. For those that are on the edge and really aren't sure if soil samples are necessary, in the 10 years plus that we've been doing food plots, soil samples for us play a huge role in the success of that food plot. And really when you boil it down to it, soil health plays a huge role in the deer health. Healthy soils make healthy plants make healthy deer. Even with minerals, potassium and phosphate play a huge role in antler growth. They play a huge role in milk production in fawns, and plant matter is way more digestible than adding minerals to anywhere on your property. And in places like Illinois where it's not legal, getting those minerals, getting those important characteristics in the soil, in the plant to get to the deer is vital in the herd health. And soil samples are going to tell you all those important things. It's going to tell you pH, it's going to tell you organic matter, potassium, phosphates, calcium, magnesium, cation exchange. All these things we'll go over in future episodes that we need to improve on, that'll show that we have deficiencies in that we need to add back into the soil. And whether we choose to do that in a conventional manner or a regenerative manner, which again we'll talk about in future episodes, it just gives you a baseline on where you are, what we need to do to change to improve our soils, improve our food plots and plants, and improve our deer health. So I recommend you guys go out there and get that food plot or get that soil sample done. You'll be on the same page as us when we get our soil samples back, and we'll show you some of the things here in the near future in the summer that we plan to do to improve that soil health. And hopefully you guys can come along with us and learn some things about soil health. Until next time, Bowhunt or die.
Introducing a new level of image quality featuring crystal clear video, sound, and stunning images day or night. With adjustable range control, ultra-fast trigger speeds, and all new software innovations, you'll never miss an image. Stealth Cam, proven.
Welcome to Illinois. Apparently whenever you come down to Rector's, let's say it's weird, like you cross the border and immediately you turn into a farmer. So we have the 4-row planter and a bunch of beans, and we are here at one of Tyler's farms that has actually had a really big deer on it last year. We got pictures of it. But they finally just finished planting all their crops. So we're gonna come in and Tyler's gonna do most of the work, but we're gonna plant this plot with beans. I know we hunted it, I don't know, it had to have been 5 or 6 years ago, and a little different setup now. He's planted a bunch of the Miscanthus giganthus so that so the deer can come in, and you got a little cover. But what we're doing here is basically it's just a pretty simple food plot. Got bedding around kind of on all sides. We're up here at the top, so these deer can come up out of the draw and or out of the bedding area, which is a little bit lower, up into this food plot, feel protected coming in, and then hopefully he's gonna wax a giant in the fall. Hopefully I'll be here filming it. So we're gonna get started because we got a whole bunch of this to do, but let's do it.
But the majority of these deer will come out probably back in this corner. This bottom flows pretty nicely to that corner, and 9 times out of 10 they come right out of there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually plant these rows of beans at an angle from the blind to that corner. Deer seem to be kind of lazy in the wintertime when they're eating these beans, and they'll walk hopefully right down these rows if there's anything left. This variety of bean I'm planting usually gets pretty tall and bushy, so hopefully kind of add as like a funnel, if you will. But planting them on 30-inch rows like this, I'm planting them really thick. I'm putting on like 70 pounds of the acre, which end up being about 180,000 to 190,000 population. And I'm gonna have a ton of overlap, so in some spots it'll be double that, but you know, these deer are gonna wipe them out. So just kind of a little tip that I do. I try to funnel the deer as close as possible. See if it works.
He'll be done here probably in the next 15 minutes, but it's kind of cool to see. I hunted this 5 or 6 years ago, and it's totally different, just the amount of work that he's put into it. And all this giant miscanthus grass is really cool. It's a fantastic screen. He's got it down, you know, down all the way around. I'll show you a little bit here, but you can see some over here, and then there's a bunch down below, and it just makes those deer feel real comfortable, especially when you're trying to get them to come in the daylight. So anyway, it'll be cool to see what this plot produces in the fall and how it looks. You know, Tyler's plots always look pretty good, but anyway, it's always cool when you know that there's a giant deer in the area that you're trying to kill too. So,
well, we just finished this roughly 1.5 acre, 2 acre plot. Planting the whole thing in beans. We'll see what this summer brings. If it turns out hot and dry, we'll probably end up doing a lot of turnips this fall, but hopefully they make it. It makes a great little easy late season spot to get into. Don't spook any deer getting in here, and hopefully the big boys come back. They were here last year, but it was pretty late, and I was on a couple other deer, the ones I ended up shooting, so let these grow up a little bit. Hopefully they get really big. I need a beer. Well, hey, me and Dustin are going to farm number 2 to plant some soybeans. This is actually the farm where he shot his buck, 3 years ago, and got one up here that is usually here all year. So I passed him up the last couple seasons, and hopefully he sticks around this year because he might actually be a shooter. So we're gonna go plant some soybeans for him, and then hope for rain. Typically we have plenty of time on my hands where I can actually spray this, work it all, and then plant it, but this year has been trying, to say the least. So we're gonna basically no-till and then just come in and spray it one time after the beans have emerged and probably get 3 or 4 inches. And by doing that, maybe it'll keep the browsing pressure down that if the deer don't know they're here. Last fall I planted buck oats here for a nice green food plot, and then I left them standing, and I'm going to just basically leave them here this year for cover, and then this fall or September I'll come in here and I'll just disc it and seed it again.
So why Tyler's planting this, I'm going to give you a little bit of a rundown of why this food plot's here, at least to my knowledge. I've been on it a few times, but these deer, a lot of times they bed back here in these trees, and you can see this little lane over here, and they come out of this bedding area right here, and they kind of filter up through that clearing, and then they'll come out here and eat before they go out into the big fields. So there's bedding all along both sides here. Our predominant wind here is kind of out of the west, west northwest. So anything there we can hunt, or he can hunt this stand. And he's got a really easy way to get in and out of here, because this tree line comes up along the edge of the big field right here. You can see, and so he can park over here and then walk in along this tree, slide up in the stand, and he gets in undetected. So that's a pretty cool spot, easy way to get in. But that's why the food plot is here, is because it's easy access, which is, you know, these guys take very seriously, which everybody should. And then, you know, we're right next to the bedding, so the chances of deer getting on their feet and then coming to this food plot are good, and in daylight during shooting hours. So anyway, that's why it's here. I'm gonna go over and show you a little trail that he's got cut in to this food plot, kind of where he wants them to come. So let's go check it out. So here's another spot that he's opened up, and the deer are using it. I mean, the deer tracks coming in and out of here, and it's June. So, but taking down a couple of wires here on the fence, and but big, beautiful bedding area back there. Sorry, there's giants here, not in Wyoming. We only have like 10 spots filling the bed.
Definitely one of the most overlooked thing when doing food plotting is testing your soil. I think Tim does a great job explaining specifically what you need to do here, guys, and I'm telling you, take the extra time and the extra steps to know exactly what you got, because it's the difference of having success or complete failure.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing a soil test here pretty soon on some of the fall plots I'm going to be putting in, specifically one on my lease, because we've planted it the last 2 years and it's just never grown very well, and we planted it at the right time. We had good growing conditions, and it just, you know, brassicas were, you know, this tall and kind of small bulbs. So
and
this
they're nitrogen hogs. I mean, you know, you go to a brand new area that's never been planted before, that first year where you just put that plot in for the first time, it's like, oh my gosh, it's amazing. You come back in year 2 and it's literally like half.
Yeah,
well, seriously.
Soil testing for me is coming up, so good advice from those guys. You know, some pretty good tips from Dustin and Tyler as well. You know, just kind of showing you guys why they're putting food plots in certain areas. A lot of guys think you can just go out and put a food plot anywhere and hunt it, and you can go put a food plot anywhere, and it's probably going to attract deer, but being able to get in and out effectively without spooking deer, having deer show up and feel comfortable during daylight, those are all things you have to be thinking about when you decide where to put your food plots, not just like, oh, I'm going to go plant some food over there and hopefully I'll kill a deer out of it. So good tips from those guys. Next up, we've got one of our funnest, most enjoyable parts of the show, which is trophy photos.
No, I think it's making fun of me is what it really is, not necessarily.
That's just the most enjoyable part of my life in general, not just the show.
That's what I do.
But we do have trophy photos coming up, so let's thank the people who sent in their photos for this week's episode. Carl Williams.
Casey Morgan.
Jacob Heiss.
Mike Larkin.
Noah Wallace.
And Verlin Allery Jr.
Hey, congratulations, everybody. Those are some great animals. I'm picking this week's winner as Carl Williams. Nice big smile, posed the deer. I could see your bow in the photo, so congrats, Carl, not just on your deer, but on winning. Make sure you send us your information so we can get you that HS prize pack sent your way. Mr. Graff, I feel like a teacher. What are you doing here? Am I have to take your phone away from you?
I got my new...
Kids aren't allowed to have their phones at their desks for a reason. You can't control yourself.
Listen, this is work stuff.
Work stuff.
That is a big buck right now. I got my new Verizon stealth cams deployed. Dude, that's legit. That's a real deer.
Well, I know it's a real deer.
I mean, a real deer we're chasing.
Well, remains to be seen. He's not a bad buck.
No, I've got other pictures that I proved, yeah.
What does that mean?
I've got
Prove,
more.
what are you going to prove?
He's looking the other way to prove. I mean, sometimes when they're looking the other way, you can't tell.
When they're going away from you, they always look
That's
bigger.
what I'm saying. I got one coming towards me, so just give me a minute and I'll find the photo. Why don't you finish this up?
All right, guys. Well, that is all the hunting and whatnot action. We told you we were going to end the show with something special today. So Brad and Brandon, who are our editors, put together some fun outtakes of Todd and myself.
Dude,
What?
that's some bucks.
Yeah, I mean, those are bucks. I understand that.
Show me how many photos you got this year.
I got nothing.
There you
no
go.
cameras out, nothing.
Boom. I got deer. He's got 0.
Whatever shows up, shows up. So our editors put together a fun little video of Todd and myself struggling through some of the trophy photo names that we announce every week on the show. So we hope you guys enjoy it, and we will see you next week right here, Bowhunt or Die. Anthony Bird.
Lesnew?
Lesno.
Mike Lesnew.
And Mitch Haberman. I should have mispronounced his name on purpose.
Have him on. Jeff Raymeyer. Doug Abyss. Abyss?
Sure, good enough.
Sure, that's close.
All right, roll.
Oh, Jesus. Muzz Cuckoo? Muzz.
You take that.
Sure it.
Hey, Vinny Muzichko! And Vinny Muzichko. Is that right?
Was that Russian?
Well, he's like an Italian. Hunter Fonkert. What a great name. Fernando Bejarano. Is that right? Bejarano.
We're sticking with that one.
How would you say this one?
Let me help you. Which one?
Number 4.
Well,
Demo Rest.
number 4,
Democrat.
Democrat.
That's Democrat.
Sizemore.
Greg Shetter.
Luke Schwent. And Wyatt Sowers, sorry. What is that?
Isaiah.
Isaiah Fryman?
Oh, Fryman. Fryman.
What is this one again?
Isaiah.
Isaiah, that's hard.
Chad Weaver.
How do you say this again?
Isaiah.
Isaiah, I got it now. Sorry, Isaiah. Isaiah Fryman. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Isaiah. Isaiah Fryman. Lamb Rollins. Rollins. Got it. And Robbie Rollins. Jeff Biller.
Jesus, and in a trophy photo.
Going Phillips, and oh boy. Giacone?
Ciccone? Hey, Tim Ciccone.
Jim Giacone. Okay, I got it. I'll even do the Giacone. Tim Jahoney.
You should just leave that in there. That's perfect. That's perfect.
Is that what it is?
Nope, not at all, but just leave it in there.